care.
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Alzheimer's Foundation of America is holding a free educational conference on July 19th as part of its Educating America tour to provide Indianapolis area residents with information about brain health, caregiving, support services, and more. It will take place at the Indiana Biosciences Research Institute. Learn more or register for the free Alzheimer's educational program by visiting www.altftn.org/tour or calling 866-232-8484.
I'm attorney Darrell Isaacs, the Hammer. Have you been injured by a dog bite? Let us take on the big insurance companies, and we'll fight to get you the money you deserve. Go to WeWin.com for your free case evaluation. Just click and get help quick. Go to WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment. And this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
Well, good afternoon on this spectacular Indianapolis afternoon. We welcome you to the Gun Guy Show. We're glad you're here. And man, what an awesome day. I had so much fun today. I've had just a lot of fun already, and I can't wait to do 2 hours of radio here on 93 WIBC because I was asked to do a live appearance at the grand reopening of Atkinson Firearms, and they've moved into a new location at Atkinson Firearms, and they're on Airport Road, just south of County Line Road in Greenwood. And listen, I met these folks. I met the owners. It's a beautiful shop. I really like their inventory. I like what they had to sell. But we had a WIBC appearance. I had the WIBC promotion crew out there. I was there. I was selling copies of my books, sold out of my books, Gun Safety and Cleaning for Dummies. I went there on the Harley. Such a pretty day. I refused to go on four wheels coming down from Zionsville to Greenwood. So by God, I'm going to ride the Harley. And so I was somewhat limited since I have no storage whatsoever on my bike. I mean, these guys with the big dressers and whatnot, I'm a little envious of the amount of storage and whatnot that they have. But I like my bike the way it is. And if I'm going to haul something, it's got to be in my pockets or in a backpack. And since I was coming to the studio, I needed my headphones and stuff I needed to do the show. And I threw 20 copies of my book, the Gun Safety and Cleaning for Dummies book that I wrote. And boom, they were gone the first hour. And that was really nice. If you were there and bought a book and had me sign it, that meant a lot to me. I really don't take that for granted at all. And it was great because I got to just shake a lot of hands. A lot of people were there. You know, we put out on social media. And WIBC ran some promotions for this during the week that I was going to be there. And it was really nice. And the people there were great. And the people that wanted to shake hands and talk about support of the Second Amendment and how important that is to them. And if you were nice enough to also, say you enjoy listening to the show, hey, that's a big deal. 'Cause, that it's not about, a radio host shouldn't sit here and talk about, how great their show is or how great their ratings are or how influential their show is. I hear that on the radio and it always turns my stomach. That's for other people to say. And you know what? There were some people in Greenwood today that showed up and said nice things. And if you were there, I just want to say thank you because it means a lot. It's a big deal. But yeah, so then I hopped on the Harley and went to lunch there in Greenwood. And man, I like what's going on in Greenwood. There are a lot of new restaurants, some bars. They've done a good job with I think the streets for the most part. I'm sure if you live in Greenwood, you probably may disagree with that to some degree. I'm always whining about the road construction in Zionsville and Carmel, the two places where I have my house and my office. But Anyway, I just enjoyed my afternoon in Greenwood. Then I hopped on the Harley and had a quick 20, 25-minute ride here to the beautiful studios at 40 Monument Circle at Radio 1. And, hey, now we're going to do 2 hours of radio. Always want to take your calls. If you were there, by the way, at Atkinson Firearms, tell me what you think of their new shop. Tell me how you thought about the afternoon. I thought it went great. I thought the WIBC promotional staff did a fabulous job. Anything else you want to talk about 2A related? Man, we always enjoy taking your calls. That's the origin of this show. So give us a call, 317-239-9393. That's 317-239-9393. In the meantime, let's get into some substance here. I was able, and I talked about this just based on news reports and based on a press conference from our illustrious mayor of Indianapolis, Joe Hogsett, talking about his gun control proposals, where he's telling the people of the city of Indianapolis how he's going to do such a great job keeping them safe by passing gun control regulations at the city level. And he said he's going to ban the sale of firearms to anyone under 21. All right, just drop a footnote. What's the law currently? To go into a gun shop and buy a gun, how old do you have to be? Well, under federal law, to buy a handgun, you have to be 21. To buy a long gun, rifle, shotgun, you have to be 18. So the only thing that Joe Hogsett would be changing by passing a regulation at the city level is how old you have to be to buy a shotgun or a rifle. Now, everybody wants to wail about so-called assault weapons. But at the end of the day, those semi-automatic rifles, and some are actually pistols, depending on whose definition you use of this made-up political term, completely ridiculous term of assault weapon or military-style assault weapon. Yeah, there are a lot of different definitions out there and different proposals. By the way, what Joe Hogsett did, and I'll get more into this here in a second, is he simply adopted, or the city adopted, the definition of quote-unquote semi-automatic assault weapon that was in the most recent bill that was filed in Congress. Last Congress passed the House, never got a vote in the Senate. And I'll go into what that means, but essentially semi-automatic rifles, and it goes beyond that. But back up. First proposal we're talking about is you have to be 21 to buy any firearm at all. Well, anytime there's a semi-automatic rifle used in a crime, it gets a lot of publicity. The press loves it. The politicians that despise your Second Amendment rights love it. But how often does that happen? Nationally, vast majority. And this is true in any city, including Indianapolis. The vast majority of murders are committed with handguns. And you already have to be 21 to buy a handgun. In a firearm shop from a federal firearms licensee, we call it, a licensed firearms dealer. Now, as you read the proposal, it would be illegal for even a private individual to transfer a gun to someone under 21, including a rifle or a shotgun in Marion County. And by the way, Marion County, Joe Hogsett, the Indianapolis City County Council, can't make new crimes. They can't create new crimes. They can't put people in jail. They can pass an ordinance, which is what this is. That's what the proposal is to do, is pass an ordinance. What's an ordinance do? Well, they can create fines. They can call something, quote unquote, unlawful, but that doesn't mean you go to jail. It just means they're going to fine you. Let's talk about that for a second. So we're going to limit crime. We're going to prevent dangerous criminals from shooting people because we're going to fine them. So there's already a law against murder. So already a law against things like pointing a firearm, criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon, intimidation with a deadly weapon. So there are a lot of crimes out there involving firearm, including killing people. There's already a law against carrying a handgun as a prohibited possessor. If you're a felon, you're underage, under 18, you're carrying a handgun in public. There's already a law against that. You have a domestic violence order of protection against you. You can't possess a gun, including, by the way, under constitutional carry. I had somebody in a restaurant today while I was having lunch. So I left Atkinson Firearms after a great 2 hours, really enjoyed it. Went to lunch, and I was sitting there getting ready to leave. Somebody recognized me. I said, man, I have a question for you. Don't you think this everybody can carry law we have now in Indiana is contributing to all the shootings in Indianapolis? And I said, who on God's earth told you we have an everyone can carry law? Well, yeah, that's the new law. Anyone, it doesn't matter. You can be a criminal. It doesn't matter. Anybody can carry a handgun now. So that's the disinformation that's going on out there about constitutional carry. That's not what it means. It's never been what it's meant. And people know that. People don't like it. People don't like the fact that you don't have to go beg permission from the government to exercise your constitutional freedoms. People think you should have to bend the knee, man. Pay homage. Ask the king if you can do what you have a constitutionally guaranteed right to do. Not granted, guaranteed. And so I proceeded to explain that we do not have a everyone can carry law. But if we have all these laws already that prevent bad guys from carrying guns, and then we have laws that say bad guys can't do bad things with guns, like, say, kill people, what moron, what complete, oh man, I wanted to drop an F-bomb there, right there, producer Carl, so bad. It just, Carl's got his finger over the dump button right there. Oh man, what complete, just fill in that yourself, idiot thinks that a fine is going to prohibit, going to somehow deter a person who's not afraid of the death penalty. He's not afraid of 60 years in prison. He's not afraid of dying in a shootout with his fellow bad guy or with police. But he might get fined by the city of Indianapolis. What complete, there you go. Idiot thinks that is going to have any effect whatsoever. It's goofy. It's irrational. But we're going to go through this proposal in more detail. Not just on that point, but the actual substance of it. And it is conditional. A lot of people were wondering how that was going to be phrased, and it was a news conference where we hadn't seen the actual proposal. I have the proposal right in front of me. You want to see it? It's City County Council proposal number 156,2023. That is the 156th proposal of the year 2023. And it's set for a hearing Wednesday night, by the way. You live in Marion County or otherwise, you want to show up to City County Council building and voice your opinion on this idiocy, please do. I'll be there. I'm going to testify. But in the meantime, we're a little past the quarter hour, I should say. We're taking a break. We'll be right back. We're going to go through this proposal in more detail, and I'll give you my unfiltered, well, for the most part, no F-bombs, right, Carl? But for the most part, unfiltered feelings on the lunacy of this. But then we're going to talk more about what's going on at the federal level. And I'll tell you what, that's good news. If you're a fan of your Second Amendment rights, you care about your Second Amendment rights, what's going on across the country right now in the wake of, and I predicted it. I don't want to say I told you so, but I predicted it. In the wake of the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin decision that came out late last year, I said this is going to mean the death knell for a lot of federal gun control across the country and at the state level too. That's exactly what's happening. That's reason to celebrate. In the meantime, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
The pothole. Formed in colder months, tiny fissures are born, and in no time at all, they grow into big, gigantic
Tire killers.
That's why you need Matt Baird Traffic.
Watch out on Keystone Avenue.
He'll guide you around these hidden monsters.
Yeah, might as well call it a basement.
And on to safer ground.
You don't want to be in the far left lane.
Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
Guy Relford for the 2A Project. You know, the 2A Project is the premier gun rights organization organized right here in Indiana by me. I'm the founder. And you know what? We're out there fighting for Second Amendment rights in Indiana, and we got a couple of things going on. One is, I was really proud to post a couple of pictures today. I wore my 15 Seconds t-shirt. If you haven't heard about this, this is in tribute to Eli Dicken, the hero of the Greenwood Park Mall, who ended a mass shooting in 15 seconds. From the time the bad guy started shooting to the time the bad guy stopped shooting, because Eli stopped it, was 15 seconds. And yeah, you know what? Innocent people died, but so many innocent people's lives were saved. And so we've produced this shirt, and this is in partnership with Eli. Eli gets half the money from the sale of these shirts, and the other half goes to the 2A Project, a nonprofit 501c4 here in Indiana. So that's where this goes. It's a great black t-shirt. It's got 15 seconds, Be Like Eli. On the back, it says July 17th, 2022. One sleeve, it has a U.S. flag. The other, it has the 2A Project logo. It's a cool shirt. And we actually had my buddy James Sigmund showed up today at Atkins's Firearm while we were doing this live event. I was wearing my 15-second t-shirt. He was wearing his, and we took a great picture along with his beautiful daughter, and I posted that on my social media. But you know what? You want one of these? Go to the2aproject.com. You'll see it come up right there as a featured product. We'd love to have you have one. The money's going to good places. And in the meantime, you can demonstrate your belief that the Second Amendment deserves support right here in Indiana. We'd love to have you support that shirt, and we'd love to have you support the cause. That's the2aproject.com.
911, what's your emergency?
Por favor, necesito ayuda. Está borracho y creo que me va a pegar otra vez.
I will get someone to speak with you. Please stay on the line.
Hola, tengo su ubicación. Ayuda está en camino.
Getting past a language barrier is critical when first responders help Hoosiers. That's why the State 911 Board provides special tools for non-English speaking citizens to communicate with emergency services.
Si estás en peligro, aunque no hables inglés, podrás recibir ayuda en una emergencia rápidamente.
All Indiana 911 centers began offering translation services in over 240 languages in 2019. Now, people can send text messages for help in their native language to 911 and receive a translated text back from the dispatcher. It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired and to those in select dangerous situations.
Cuando llame o envíe un texto al 911, un servicio de traducción se asegurará que entiendan lo que está diciendo.
For more information, visit in911.net.
Gracias.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and school is out. Your home needs a break, too. Before you dive into summer fun, ensure a fresh start with a Zero-Res reset. Zero-Res can take care of the remnants of school projects, spills, and stains, and make way for an unforgettable summer. Right now at Zero-Res, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $149, plus a free hallway and $50 off air duct cleaning, too. Zero-Res does it with no soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, using their patented ZR water. They really get the allergens and irritants, as well as the dirt and the stains, out for a lasting summer clean. And the techs are the best in the industry, trained in extraction techniques that just work to get your things really, really clean. With Zero-Res, things just stay cleaner longer, with a softer and fluffier feeling that you will absolutely notice. Now mention WIBC and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $149, plus you'll get a free hallway and $50 off air duct cleaning too. Call 388-5141 or schedule your appointment online at ZeroResIndy.com.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show next Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. Next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunshows.com. AE Ammo is Greenwood's ammunition superstore. The largest variety in training, hunting, and self-defense ammo with the best prices locally guaranteed. Factory new 9mm FMJ ammo starting at $12 per 50-round box. Factory new 50-round boxes, $380 from $14.99 and $45 ACP from $18.99. And with the AE Ammo Customer Rewards Program, start earning points today towards money back to use on future purchases. Shop in-store or online at aeammo.com.
First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. 1, okay, cool guy. 2, 3 times. Next, I put it in reverse. Meep, meep, meep. Then I take it up and down, up and down. And that, kiddos, is called the forklift.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now that's dancing. Sure beats flossing.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
For those fortunate enough to help the person who has always been their hero, find the care guides you need to help at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. Just had a couple people on the YouTube channel. By the way, if you haven't heard me mention this before, we do broadcast a live video of the show. I always say the same thing. Yeah, not a whole lot to look at. So I'm sure a lot of people prefer the radio version. But if you want to watch a live broadcast video-wise, that's on YouTube right now. And yes, here I'll turn toward the camera. I am sporting my 15 seconds T-shirt. 15 seconds, be like Eli. One sleeve got the 2A Project logo. Other sleeve got the American flag, and on the back says July 17th, 2022. And that's in tribute to the heroism, the courage, and the life-saving capacities of Eli Dickin, who's become my friend. He's my client, and I'm proud to be so. So you want a 15-second shirt, man? Go to the2aproject.com. It'll come right up. But thanks for the comment. Somebody says, nice shirt. You know, so my wife says, nice shirt. That doesn't necessarily mean she likes my shirt. And it's taken me a few years to figure that out. So I'm hoping that was a positive comment. Carl, you laughed at that. I'm taking you may have experienced a similar thing in your lifetime.
The joys of being married.
Yeah. Nice shirt is sometimes a compliment.
Sometimes, but not most times.
All right, let's get back into the discussion of the complete idiocy going on from the Democrats in Marion County, and particularly from our illustrious mayor. So we got a proposal, and by the way, and I went into some detail on this last week. I won't repeat that discussion, but what we're talking about here is the city of Indianapolis regulating firearms. Well, there's an inherent problem in that, and the city of Indianapolis cannot regulate firearms. We have something called the Indiana Firearms Preemption Act, and it says political subdivisions, which are units of government below the state, so cities, towns, councils, city councils, county commissions, these people cannot regulate firearms. Now, there are 13 exceptions, and that sounds like a lot, but it's really very limited. For instance, there's one which may come into play right here on Monument Circle where I am right now. I don't know, based on rumors I'm hearing. But one is an exception to the preemption law that otherwise says local government can't regulate firearms. An exception is if the city leases property to a private organizer or promoter of an event, that organizer or promoter of that event can ban firearms on that property, even though it's on city property. And for a long time, we've called that the Jimmy Irsay exception, because while we were debating the preemption law in 2011, which is when we passed it in the General Assembly. By the way, this is written by Jim Toms, great pro-2A senator from southwestern Indiana, down the Evansville, Poseyville area. when we were debating this, Jim Irsay came out and said, hey, look, I understand I'm pro 2A, I'm pro gun, but I really don't want guns. And then the RCA don't. And so that's when they wrote in this private organizer or promoter of an event like the Colts, who lease property like the stadium, now Lucas Oil, obviously, the newer stadium. They can ban firearms. So when you go into Gainbridge Fieldhouse, watch a Pacer game, yes, they can ban firearms because that's a private organizer, promoter of an event that's leasing property otherwise owned by the city. So that's an exception. By the way, let's just go ahead and go into that discussion. Why could that come into play right here on the circle? There's discussion, and there was a bit of an announcement, although the announcement was very, very unclear to me, and I'd love to see more clarification on this. The city plans to close to traffic half of the Monument Circle. And again, the studio right here, we're on the 4th floor. We look right down on the circle. It's a beautiful view. I've always loved coming here to do the show, in part for that reason. But they're talking about closing off half the circle to traffic, to vehicular traffic, allow foot traffic, and then having a lot more vendors and, shops or whatnot out on the pavement or the bricks of Monument Circle. And what I just heard recently from people I deeply trust is that the plan they're not necessarily talking about yet is they're going to hire a private organizer or promoter to lease, organize, whatever it might be, the vendors and whatnot on this closed part of Monument Circle, and then put up metal detectors and say, since the city has leased half of Monument Circle to a private organizer or promoter of an event, it's just like a Colts game or a Pacer game where you can't carry firearms because that private organizer promoter of the event is banning firearms there. So if I don't know exactly what half they're talking about. Originally, I thought it was going to be the west half, essentially from Meridian to Meridian on the south side to Meridian on the north side. But I don't know. We'll see how that works. So I suppose if I walk out of the studio after doing my show, and am I lawfully carrying a firearm right now? Well, of course I am. And if I walk out onto the band part, I walk out of the studio, I walk out of the Emmis building, I don't know if there's going to be a metal detector right there or not, but it's going to get interesting. And by the way, they can't arrest me. Again, I go back to the point. The city can't create crimes. They can't put people in jail. They can fine me and they can kick me out. They can say, oh, you have a firearm. You're not allowed to have a firearm here. And if I refuse to leave after being told to leave, they can arrest me for criminal trespass. Just like if I try to get into a Colts game with a gun. And they say, I go through the metal detector or they wand me or whatever it is. And they say, well, you can't bring a gun in here. And I say, well, I don't care. I'm bringing a gun in here anyway. And I refuse to leave. All right, they can arrest me for trespassing. Is what's going to go on Monument Circle. And the idea that I, as someone, yes, with a lifetime license to carry, yes, I can lawfully carry under constitutional carry, someone with no criminal history whatsoever, I can walk out of the studios of 40 Monument Circle onto a closed portion of Monument Circle, and they're going to want to put me in jail after they trespass me because I'm carrying a firearm, because firearms are prohibited on half of Monument Circle. That is what I hear the proposal to be. That's separate from this proposal that's going to be heard in committee Wednesday night, but it was a good time to go into that discussion. I'll tell you what, we'll stop the discussion there. Let's take a break here at the bottom of the hour. We want to take your phone calls, as we always do, 317-239-9393, 317-239-9393. We'd love to hear from our callers, and especially if you were out at Atkinson Firearms today. I really had just a great afternoon. I really like the people out there. I love the people who showed up. I wish I took more books, man. I sold out of Gun Safety and Cleaning for Dummies, and it meant a lot to me that people wanted to buy a book and get it signed, and that was all just a lot of fun. In the meantime, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Dr. Jill Biden. She was doing some speech. She was clearly wanting some applause at one point.
I've visited red states and blue states. And I found that the common values that unite us are deeper than our divisions. And I thought you might clap for that.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Premier Deck Coating, the ultimate deck protection. Who are they? Well, they're a sister company of Rhino Shield, and Premier Deck Coating is the product you need if you're tired of applying the same old stain and paint every couple of years to your deck. It's Terry, Stacy, and David and I have a deck that's probably 25 years old. The countless hours and the money that we spend on maintaining that deck never ends. And then we heard about Premier Deck Coating, family-owned, based right here in Indy, and they are going to completely transform our deck with their special formulated product, which repels moisture, scratch-resistant in virtually any color that we want, and backed by a 10-year guarantee. No more spending time staining or painting every year. Premier Deck Coating will keep our deck looking great for years to come. Premier Deck Coating can also do fences and pergolas, too. For a free quote, call 317-696-4071 or visit premierdeckcoating.com.
Whether you're an experienced firearms owner or just thinking about getting a new firearm, Atkinson Firearms in Greenwood has everything you need. With brands like Glock, Smith & Wesson, Canik, Colt, Henry, SIG, and much more. If Atkinson Firearms doesn't have it, they can get it. Plus accessories, from holsters to ammo and everything between. Atkinson Firearms is firefighter owned and veteran staff with a new larger location. Follow Atkinson Firearms on Facebook. Atkinson Firearms, off County Line Road next to the Greenwood Airport.
Hubler has it, savings. Hubler has it, choices.
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
Fox News, I'm Joe Chiro. Former President Trump today attending campaign events in Georgia and North Carolina after being indicted on felony charges.
He's facing 37 felony charges for his handling of classified documents. He's accused of being personally involved with moving those documents from the White House to Mar-a-Lago. President Trump is accused of showing people without security clearances an attack plan prepared for him by the Defense Department and a map related to a military operation.
Fox's Nate Foy in Bedminster, New Jersey. The former president says he's innocent. He's expected in federal court in Miami on Tuesday. French judges have handed preliminary charges of attempted murder to a man suspected of stabbing 4 young children and 2 adults in a French Alps park. The suspect is a 31-year-old Syrian refugee with permanent residency in Sweden who has a 3-year-old daughter. His name was not released. America is listening to Fox News.
It's prime home selling season. Right now, home buyers are actively looking. With mortgage rates moving lower, now is the ideal time to get your home sold for maximum dollar. Make the smart choice. Hire the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Maybe you're a growing family or working from home, and that means you need more space. How about Tom and Carol in Indianapolis? They needed to sell their parents' house quickly and move them into a place that could care for them better. They heard about Mark Dietl on our show, and after multiple offers, the home was under contract in days.
There's only one agent that we recommend and trust on the Hammer and Nigel show, and it's Mark Dietl. And the reason we trust him is because of the guarantee. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Call right now, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Get peace of mind for just $59.
Hey Indiana, beat the heat this summer with Peterman Brothers.
And get peace of mind as you watch your monthly energy bills drop when you upgrade to a brand new AC starting at only $59 a month with Peterman.
Or save even more when you upgrade to a qualifying high-efficiency heat pump and get a tax credit of up to $2,000.
Whatever you choose, save money and stay comfortable all summer long.
Visit PetermanHVAC.com to schedule online, and we'll see you tomorrow, guaranteed.
Golfers, you're invited to take the short trip to experience Antler Point Golf Course in Rushville. Antler Point just underwent renovations in the last year and is ready for you to experience this year. Weekday specials, senior specials, and affordable weekends. 18 or 9 holes. Antler Point is less than an hour from Indy. You want to play more golf in 2023? Make the short trip and give Antler Point Golf Course in Rushville a swing. You'll be glad you came. AntlerPointGolf.com. That's point with an E.
The show about gun rights, gun safety, and responsible gun ownership. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back to The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. So let's get back into the current proposal. And again, this idea about blocking off half the circle and whatnot, that apparently is something they want to do down the road. But the proposal has been filed. It was filed on June 1. And is going to be heard in the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee Wednesday night, I think at 5 o'clock, 5:30, perhaps. But I'll be there. I'm going to testify. I've actually been asked by 2 of the, I think there's 6 Republican city county councilors now out of 25 with, 19 or 20 Democrats, but a couple of the Republicans asked me to be there and to voice my thoughts, and I'm happy to do so. But I'll share my thoughts with you here, since obviously most of you are not going to be at the City County Council committee meeting Wednesday night. And I went through the first part of this proposal. That is, nobody under 21 can buy a gun in Marion County, including the way it's written, from a private individual. It just says it shall be unlawful in Marion County for a person under 21 years of age to purchase a firearm. It shall be unlawful in Marion County to sell a firearm to a person under 21 years of age. As used in this section, the term firearm has the definition set forth in Indiana Code, which is, just sets out the traditional statutory definition of a gun. So we're not talking about just from a dealer. It could be from a private individual. So consider this. Your 19-year-old son comes back from Iraq or Afghanistan here recently. And they left their military weapons in the military, obviously, so they're now home. And they had a great job. 19, 20 years old, they were driving a tank. They were operating an artillery unit. They were operating a drone. They were operating some of the more sophisticated weapons the United States military has to offer. And they come home and they say to you, I'm coming up on my next birthday. Say it's my 20th birthday. What do you want for your birthday? You know what? I want to start shooting sporting clays. I think I'd like to start shooting sporting clays. I think it'd be a great hobby. A lot of people do it. It's a lot of fun. I heard Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show talk about shooting sporting clays, and he loves it. So, I'd love, for my next birthday, I'd love a sporting clay shotgun. In Marion County, Mayor Joe Hogsett is telling you, under this proposal, that you can't give your son, 20-year-old son, military veteran, a sporting clay shotgun. How? F-bomb there? Yeah, Carl, watch that dump button. How incredibly stupid is that? Is that going to stop crime? And again, they can't make it a criminal offense. Unbelievable. But let's keep going. It then talks about it shall be unlawful in Marion County to buy, sell, possess, display, carry, brandish, or discharge. So this includes buy, sell, possess. So possess. A semi-automatic assault weapon, as that term is defined in the proposed federal assault weapon ban of 2023. So there's a federal bill that's been introduced It's not going anywhere because the feds know they can't pass it. Even the Democrats in Congress know they can't pass it. But Joe Hoggs is going to pick up that definition and make that illegal in Marion County. Not that it's a crime, but they're going to fine you apparently. And buy, sell. So if you're a gun shop and you sell ARs, most commonly owned rifle in America, you can't sell them under this proposal. It's unlawful. They'll fine you. I suppose theoretically they could threaten your zoning. I don't know. In the proposal itself, by the way, there are no defined penalties. I'm sure there's a general penalty provision associated with any violation of this chapter. It's probably, a first offense is a fine of something like $500, and it can go up to something like $2,500, but that's even limited of what they can fine you. But that's all they can do is fine you. Can't put you in jail. The city of Indianapolis cannot define criminal penalties. So they're going to ban so-called semi-automatic assault weapons. So, all right, IMPD, Joe Hoggs it. The vast majority of the rank and file of IMPD are going to laugh at this. They could care less. I have a quote-unquote semi-automatic assault weapon in a locked safe mounted in the trunk of my car right now. It's my AR. It's in a safe. It's secure. But I would be committing a quote-unquote unlawful act under this proposal right now. I'm a law-abiding citizen. No criminal history. And the city of Indianapolis wants to make that unlawful based on my possession of the most commonly owned rifle in America. Then it goes on to say, no person shall carry a handgun in Marion County without having applied for and received a handgun license from the Indiana State Police. I'm paraphrasing the last part. So essentially they're saying they're not going to allow constitutional carry, even though it's been passed by the legislature of the state of Indiana. And then lastly, the fourth one, they go on to say, actually, notwithstanding that, ignore that completely. No person shall carry a concealed firearm anywhere in Marion County. I'm carrying a concealed firearm right now. Man, I'm like all over this proposal. You would think I would be the target of what Mayor Hogsett and the city and the Democrats, at least on the city county council, are really concerned about. Guy Relford, sitting in the Radio 1 studio, law-abiding citizen, they're concerned about me. Does that make any sense to you? And by the way, if I'm looking at a $2,500 fine, if I get caught concealed carrying a firearm in Marion County, is that going to influence my behavior? I don't know. We'll wait for that to be seen. Is it going to influence a criminal who's going to murder somebody? Does that make any sense to you? Of course it does not. But I'll tell you what, we're taking a break now. We're a little past the 3/4 hour. We come back. I want to talk about, forget about the preemption statute that says the city of Indianapolis can't do any of this anyway. Forget about that for a minute. Let's get into whether this would pass constitutional muster, whether this would be constitutional under the Second Amendment or Article 1, Section 32 of the Indiana Constitution, irrespective of whether the preemption statute makes it illegal to begin with. That's what we'll get into when we come back. Again, give us a call, 317-239-9393. We're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
I voted for you to figure this out. If you won't, I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm simply going to vote for somebody else who will. That's our job. America is a machine. The elected officials are cogs. If the cog doesn't work, out, put in a new one. Boop. That's me putting in a new cog. Boop. I'm going to sip my bourbon and not worry about a thing, Boo-Bear.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for the law offices of Guy Relford. You know, one of the things we do at the law office that we really enjoy, we do expungements. An expungement seals your criminal history for some convictions, not all, but for some felony convictions, for instance, we can seal that conviction off your record, and we can restore your gun rights. If you've got one of those on your record, you want to explore the possibility of whether we can restore your gun rights or not. We've done it for hundreds and hundreds of clients. We'd love to do it for you if it applies. And if you're eligible, and we can talk about exactly what those eligibility requirements are, give us a call, contact us. Just go to relfordlaw.com. You can contact us right through the website. We'd love to help you out and restore your rights if you're eligible under the expungement statute. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call. We'll see if we can help you. That's relfordlaw.com.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Rob. I started losing hair around my crown, and my hairline was starting to recede. I went to We Grow Hair Indy, and they helped grow my hair back. My friend Dave First, a sports broadcaster for over 20 years, also struggled with hair loss. Dave, what happened?
My thinning hair was bothering me. For me, I'm in the public eye. I'm a dad also, and I want to look and feel my best. And if I'm going to do something about my hair, I want to go with the best. We Grow Hair Indy. They really set the standard.
Dave, that's amazing. I had the same procedure, multi-unit hair grafting transplants, which gives you more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Call 317-522-2995 for your free hair and scalp evaluation. Find out if hair transplants or PRP is right for you.
If you're thinking about this, don't waste your time or money. Go to the experts.
Call 317-522-2995, 522-2995, or visit WeGrowHairIndy.com, the gold standard for hair restoration.
Are your investments going nowhere? Here's a tip that always pays big dividends. Invest in yourself, your talent, your smarts, your skills. Maybe it's time to make that investment and start a career in IT or upskill to boost your current career. At My Computer Career, you can bank on us. We'll help you get the right skills and the right certifications to start or advance your IT career. IT keeps growing, so go with the growth at My Computer Career. The right training, the right timing, the right career. Invest in you at mycomputercareer.edu. Start now.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our Dare to Compare sale. We guarantee none of our competitors will beat us on any price on items that are apples to apples. That's Berlin Gardens, Lazy Boy, Hollywood, Tempur-Pedic, Smith Brothers of Bern, anything in our store. If you do, we'll beat the price and still deliver it for free. Now through Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Hey, it's JMV, and the summer startup sale is here at Sundown Gardens. 30% off Dissectum Japanese maples and pottery. 186th and Spring Mill Road. That's sundown.gardens.com. Sundown.gardens.com.
We need each other because every someone needs someone else.
We need each other because when we work together, we can do so much more.
We connect more children with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. And that's what Child Fund is all about.
Because when you make someone's world better, you make everyone's world better.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
Learn more at childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
There are screening tests to catch cancer early. Visit cancer.org/getscreened.
I'd rather be folding laundry.
This is gonna be fun.
Said no one ever. Also, no one enjoys wasting time in traffic. That's why we love saving you time. Matt Baird Traffic.
Backups are already starting.
On 93 WIBC. Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. You know, we got kind of a short segment here. We do want to start taking calls. We've got a couple of people on hold. Please join the discussion. We're going to go to the phone lines here in the second hour. So give us a call, 317-239-9393. But I'm going to talk about whether any of this is constitutional. Because, by the way, the proposal makes it very clear. And it starts right out. The council, meaning the city-county council in Marion County, recognizes that the provisions of the rest of the proposal are currently unenforceable under the Indiana statute restricting most forms of gun regulation by local governments. So they start off right away acknowledging that. So they're basically saying we can't do what we're going to do in the following provisions of this proposal. But then they say, however, if at some point the preemption statute is somehow withdrawn or overturned, and we get a written notice from Corporation Counsel, that's essentially the city attorney, saying, hey, you're good to go, the preemption statute has gone away, and the following provisions do not violate the Indiana or state constitution or any other Indiana statute, then they go into effect. Let's go through that. The preemption statute is not going away. There's no appetite in the Indiana General Assembly to repeal the preemption. It's a great law. It's a great law because it prevents idiots like Joe Hoxton from doing exactly what they're proposing to do here. In fact, by passing this thing, they will give us the best argument in the history of the preemption statute over the last 12 years it's been in effect. This is why we need this statute, because idiots like the Marion County City County Council will pass into things that they know are unconstitutional, they know are illegal, but they don't care. That's why we need to have the preemption statute to begin with. They've given us the most beautiful argument for that ever. Separately, are any of these things constitutional? Of course not. We've already had courts say preventing the sale of firearms to people under 21 is unconstitutional. We had the Supreme Court of the United States say that New York's law, making it discretionary on whether to grant somebody a concealed carry license, is unconstitutional. And they want to ban concealed carry completely in Marion County. The Supreme Court has said specifically that's unconstitutional. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. We're into the first hour. We're going to come back and start hour number 2. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
These are emails filling your employees' inboxes, downloads beaming from device to device. And any one of them could be a cyber attack. Is it possible to keep your small business safe? It is with Comcast Business Security Edge. It helps keep your connected devices protected, and you can monitor threat activity in real time. So this security threat is the last thing you need to worry about. With Comcast Business, advanced security isn't just possible, it's happening.
Get started with fast speeds and advanced security for $39 a month for 12 months with no annual contract. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Call or go online today to learn more. Offer ends 7/23/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments. New 100 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, installation, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Mark loves summers in Indy, but he hates to paint, so he called Rhino Shield.
It's a 2-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 10% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Broadcasting from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Ridiculous and baseless. I'm Joe Giro, Fox News. That's former President Trump's characterization of the federal indictment against him regarding classified documents. He spoke at the Georgia GOP convention.
Biden is trying to jail his leading political opponent, an opponent that's beating him by a lot in the polls, just like they do in Stalinist Russia or communist China.
The former president also speaking today at the North Carolina GOP convention. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has visited Kyiv in a show of support for Ukraine as it launches a counteroffensive against occupying Russian forces.
Ukraine especially trying to claw back losses around the eastern town of Bakhmut and then break through Russian defenses south of here to split enemy-held ground. In action, American Bradley fighting vehicles and German Leopard tanks. Russia is targeting some of those. Russia also continuing its long-range barrage of the country, but most of the missiles and drones landed to the south and west.
Fox's Greg Palcott in Kyiv. Airline passengers could soon see some changes at airports.
Democrats and Republicans on the House Transportation Committee compromising on a bill to reauthorize Federal Aviation Administration programs for 5 years. One provision would let airlines advertise base fares with a link to fees, rolling back an Obama-era rule mandating the display of the full fare. Another proposal would allow 250 of the mandatory 1,500 pilot training hours to be done on a simulator, up from 100. The bill also includes provisions to improve airport infrastructure and, for the first time, install cockpit video recorders to assist with accident investigations.
Fox's Samantha Liebman. And Unabomber Ted Kaczynski has died at the age of 81 while serving a lifetime federal prison sentence. America is listening to Fox News.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor and editor of the Transom.com daily newsletter, and I'm inviting you to join a conversation every week with the smartest thinkers out there about the issues Americans face and where we're going as a nation. This show will feature deep dive interviews with newsmakers and some of your favorite Fox News analysts. I hope you'll join me as we dive into the fray. It's the Ben Domenech Podcast.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
The investigation of
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
An officer-involved shooting. Cloudy overnight, headed into a rainy Sunday. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending this hour. Indiana State Police are investigating after officers shot a Noblesville man. Earlier this week, Elwood police officers went to South L Street after learning of a possible domestic battery incident. However, once they arrived, their suspect was already gone. A few hours later, they found 26-year-old Dakota McCreary near South J Street after someone spotted him and called police. They say he was armed and ultimately pointed his gun at them, so they shot him. He was taken to a hospital in Elwood before being flown to one in Indianapolis. A wanted man from Illinois was caught in Indiana. Harrison Silcox reports.
Jesse Carrick was wanted on a warrant for burglary. State police found that out after they pulled over a pickup truck he was riding in Wednesday afternoon. That truck had been in a road rage incident earlier that day in Monroe County. Police believe the people in the truck were in some sort of altercation with someone in a Chevy Cruze on State Road 46 before they took off. Carrick is in the Owen County Jail. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
For the 11th and 12th academic years in a row, the cost of tuition at Purdue University will stay the same for most students. The Journal and Courier reports that Purdue's main campus in West Lafayette has agreed to a tuition freeze yet again. However, students in the professional flight program will have to pay slightly more for their education. And some students at Purdue's Fort Wayne and Northwest campuses will also have to pay slightly more for certain programs. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, clouds will be increasing throughout the night, low temperature 62 degrees. And for tomorrow on Sunday, much-needed rain is likely. A few rumbles of thunder also possible. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
The future depends on teachers. Every day, teachers are shaping our tomorrows, starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who will make preventing pandemics their life's work, sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who will help combat climate change, and generating possibilities for a student who will be the first in their family to graduate college. It all starts with teachers who meet challenges with creativity, who reinvent education for the future, who work towards a school system that lifts up every child, regardless of race, income, or zip code, and to enable the full potential of our students, our communities, and our country. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Shape the future. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Reinhardt Heating and Cooling? Find that American Standard air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment. And this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back for hour number 2 of the Gun Guy Show here on 93 WIBC. I want to say thanks again to the wonderful folks at Atkinson Firearms. They're on Airport Road, just south of County Line Road in Greenwood. Beautiful new facility. It was a grand reopening today. They invited me out for their reopening. I was there for 2 hours and sold a bunch of my books, Gun Safety and Cleaning for Dummies, signed them, shook a lot of hands, posed for a lot of pictures. It was just a lot of fun. But in the meantime, got to see a beautiful new gun shop there in Greenwood. Greenwood's lucky to have these folks. They're good people. It's a family-owned business, and I enjoyed being there, and I really wish them great success. But in the meantime, it was really fun to be there, and it was really nice. We had people there stand in line for a while and want to take a picture or shake hands or buy a book. And I don't know, it meant a lot to me. So I had a big smile on my face the whole time I was there because I really enjoyed interacting with the folks there and particularly the people who listen to the Gun Guy Show. And it was just nice. It was awesome. But I'll tell you what, we're going to get more into what's going on nationally on the gun control scene and some really, really good developments. I mean, yeah, we have constant idiocy here in Marion County, but man, what's going on at the national level, and it all impacts, again, what these anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment, anti-Constitution politicians want to do here in Marion County and otherwise, because we're getting some rulings from courts that are pretty spectacular and predicted. And listen, when the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association case came out, it's New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. And it came out in 2022, late 2022. And what it did is it found the handgun licensing scheme statute requirements in New York that required you to have a sufficient cause, a sufficient need to carry a handgun before they would issue you a handgun license to carry a concealed firearm outside the home. So the fundamental question is there a right to carry a concealed firearm outside the home? And can the state deny that to the vast majority of its citizens by finding they simply don't have the requisite need, the level of necessity to exercise a constitutionally protected freedom? And the court said, no, when you can arbitrarily deny that to the majority of the population, it's no longer a right guaranteed by the Constitution. It's a privilege granted by the government. That's not how the Second Amendment works. So it's unconstitutional. And that was just a discretionary system where some people got licenses and some people didn't. Again, Mayor Hoxett and the Democrats on the city county council, at least some of them, want to make it illegal to carry a concealed firearm in Marion County for anybody. Does nobody there read Supreme Court decisions? Do they really not understand what the U.S. Supreme Court just said about the Second Amendment and what you can do and what you can't do as the government? Did any of the lawyers in the city attorney's office graduate law school? Because guess what? They taught us how to read opinions. They taught us how to read court decisions. And nobody who reads Bruin can look at the proposal that we just talked about during the first hour and think that it's constitutional. Nobody. Nobody can read the decisions coming down saying things like it's illegal to say you're under 21, you can't buy a gun. It's unconstitutional. I'm trying to leave that behind, but I keep coming back to it. In the meantime, what's going on nationally on some of these issues? Striking down laws that are part of the Brady Bill, been around since 94. Striking down great big old bloody chunks of it. And I'll get into that as we go on. In the meantime, I've had some people call in. Always love it when people call the Gun Guy Show. Love to talk to our callers. So let's go to the phone lines and answer some questions. And Keith has called in. Keith, what's your question there, buddy? Keith, are you there, man? Keith, you're snoozing on us, bro. I'm going to put you on hold for just a minute. And I know we had you on hold for a bit, man. You may have walked away from your phone. But, man, you got to be ready when you call the Gun Guy Show. Let's go back to the phone lines, and we've got Matt. Matt, welcome to the Gun Guy Show.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure,
I'm a 48-year-old father of three who's a little bit behind on this new law. I have a lifetime concealed carry permit. But here's my question. I've got a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 17-year-old who, will soon be 18. I'm just trying to find out, what can Dad tell them that each of them are allowed to do at their respective ages? And, can they open carry and conceal carry, just like a summation? I want to make sure that I'm giving them solid legal advice about what they're able to do as they're walking into their adulthood.
Sure, Matt. And you know what? I have a lot of praise for you wanting to make sure that you're giving the right information to your kids. I mean, hey, man, 17, I think you said 19 and 20, or about to turn 21. That's a big deal. And I'm glad you want to give them the right information. I'll tell you what, you can shortcut this a little bit. I'm going to answer your question. But you can shortcut this a little bit. Go to our website at the 2A Project. Again, I'm really proud of the 2A Project. We founded it to specifically fight for 2A rights here in Indiana. We were right out front on constitutional carry. We helped write it. We were at every committee hearing. We helped get it passed. And there are legislators in Indiana who will tell you that constitutional carry wouldn't have passed if it wasn't for the 2A Project and our members and our support for that statute. And I'm really proud of that. But in the meantime, you can go to the2aproject.com and just scroll down to articles. And I wrote, not long after constitutional carry was signed by Governor Holcomb, it went into effect July 1st last year, I read an article, said constitutional carry fact sheet. And it just says, what does it do? What does it not do? And it's not a long article, and you can have that. You can show it to your kids. You can go down through it. But what it says, essentially, and I don't have it in front of me, but what it says is that if you're at least 18 and you're not prohibited by state or federal law from possessing a firearm, you can lawfully carry a handgun in Indiana, where you can otherwise lawfully carry a handgun. In other words, if it's illegal somewhere to possess a firearm, like school property, and there are exceptions to the school property bill. I won't go into all those now. It's part they deal with, have it in your vehicle, et cetera, et cetera. But without going through the exceptions, if it's otherwise legal to possess a gun in a particular place, you're at least 18 and you're not prohibited by state or federal law, constitutional carry says you can carry a handgun. Now, who's prohibited by state or federal law? And again, you have to be 18. So 2 of your 3 kids are good to go under constitutional carry, assuming they're not prohibited possessors. I'm sure they're not. They're not felons. They're not domestic batterers. They're not under a domestic violence order of protection, et cetera, et cetera. But, and I go through the prohibited possessors, by the way, in the article, as I recall. So if you're at least 18, you can carry if you're not prohibited. Now, this applies to residents and non-residents. I assume you and your kids are Indiana residents, but even if you're not an Indiana resident, it applies to you as well. It doesn't affect who can buy a gun. And again, to buy a handgun from a federal firearms licensee, which is any dealer, any gun shop, place that's licensed by the federal government to sell guns, you got to be 21 to buy a handgun. You got to be 18 to buy a long gun. Again, that's something our idiot mayor here in Marion County is trying to change. Doesn't change the process for buying a gun. You buy a gun in a gun store, you have to go through a background check. Doesn't change who can possess a firearm. If it was unlawful for you to possess a firearm before, it's unlawful for you to possess a firearm today. It doesn't change where you can carry a gun. And you got to know, where is it legal, where is it not? I mean, I teach my Indiana gun law course. I'm getting ready to teach it out at Parabellum, great gun store and indoor range out in Avon. Full class, man. They got a beautiful classroom. We can seat 50 in there. I think I actually have 1 seat available, but I'm not advertising the course because I don't want to oversell it. I don't want people having to not have a comfortable seat. But we talk about where you can carry, where you can't. But that's basically it. That's a summary, but I commend you to the article, Constitutional Carry Fact Sheet at the2aproject.com. By the way, the article right before that, I go through how reciprocity works. So can you carry out of state under constitutional carry? I go through that as well. I need to update that because 2 things have changed. Florida has passed constitutional carry, I believe, effective July 1. And North Dakota has changed their law. It used to be restricted to only North Dakota residents. They were the only state out of the now 26 states. The majority of states in the country have passed constitutional carry. How about that? The majority. But North Dakota was the only state that said it only applied to North Dakota residents. Well, they just changed that. They just voted to change it, and I believe it's something like August 3rd. They're changing that to where it also applies, like every other state that's passed it, including Indiana, applies to non-North Dakota residents as well. So I need to update that article to reflect those 2 things. Florida has passed constitutional carry, effective here in less than a month, and North Dakota changed their law about non-residents. But anyway, beyond that article provides a lot of information about how you can travel out of state under constitutional carry or with a license. And you said you have a license to carry. You said concealed carry, Matt. It's not a concealed carry license. I always want to gently and politely correct people on that. Why? Because you can carry open or concealed. By the way, I didn't answer this part of your question. Under constitutional carry, you can also carry openly or concealed. Under our license, you can carry open or concealed. And with constitutional carry, you can carry openly or concealed. Now, do I ever carry openly? occasionally. I'm going to the range. I'm teaching a class. Otherwise, hey, it's legal. I'm not going to criticize anybody who does it. I have good friends and people I respect that do it. I don't personally choose to open carry, but I think it's a matter of personal freedom. In the meantime, we're past the quarter hour. We're taking a break. Matt, thanks for calling. I hope I answered your question. If you still have any questions at all, you can go to that article. Again, it's the2aproject.com. Scroll down to articles, and it's constitutional carry fact sheet. And please share it, distribute it, send the link around because I want people to understand what the facts and not the fiction that gets distributed on constitutional carry all the time. In the meantime, Keith, man, if you're still on hold, we came to you, man. You were slumbering. You probably had to go to the bathroom or something. I understand. You were on hold for a while. We're going to try you one more time. In fact, producer Carl's going to come on and see if you're with us, Keith. But in the meantime, give us a call, 317-239-9393. That's 317-239-9393. Join us. We'll be continuing, I should say, the discussion when we come back. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing and defaming her. They did clear his name of rape, however.
It, to me, does reinforce why he can't be the nominee. You're now running with this? Mm-hmm. You're already a candidate who has a serious issue with swing state suburban women, and now you're running with this.
Mm-hmm. Kendall and Casey. Weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for the 2A Project. We'd love to have you join the premier gun rights organization right here in Indiana. It's the 2A Project. We were right out front on constitutional carry. We're constantly fighting for your Second Amendment rights here, but we need your support. And we need your membership. You can do that at the2aproject.com. We got a great hat, great logo, great shirts, and a lapel pin. I see a lot of people wearing our lapel pin out when I'm out in public, wearing a sport coat or a suit. I love that. Great T-shirt, great logo. We'd love to have you sporting that around town or around the state of Indiana. In the meantime, also, we also have the Eli Dickin, the 15-second Be Like Eli shirt that goes to support Eli, as well as our 501c4 nonprofit in the 2A Project. And that's to commemorate the heroism of Eli Dickin in the Greenwood Park Mall on July 17th, 2022. You can pick up any or all of those things and a membership in the 2A Project at the2aproject.com.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like your neighbor Jerry.
When we first started looking for different options, we went to the internet. Really, we did choose Galaxy, and definitely happy that we did. We first had our front porch and our pool deck done. Decided we loved it so much, we had them out about 10, 11 months later to finish up and do our back porch.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a 15-year warranty.
The crews at Galaxy were great. They actually cared about my property, very punctual, knowledgeable, and just a great group of workers.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings works for any area like patios, garage floors, driveways, and around pools.
I'm 100% satisfied. It's not slippery and it's not hot. I was very impressed with the product. It's amazing that I don't burn my feet and my 6-year-old doesn't fall.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com and remember to like us on Facebook, GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com. We are out of this world.
The year is almost half over and you are still dealing with that knee or hip pain. Enough is enough. Pills are not the answer. Surgery is not the answer. You need to call QC Kinetics today. Tony Katz here, and the advanced regenerative medicine solutions at QC Kinetics can give you a life without chronic joint pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in taking healing properties from your own body and applying them right into your achy joint, so your joint tissue can be repaired and restored naturally. Patients across America are having life-changing results, and there's no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulders, hips, you need to stop what you are doing and call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can give you your life back. Get started today. Call QC Kinetics for your own complimentary consultation. QC Kinetics is in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. So call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. In Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
Hubler has it, savings. Hubler has it, choices.
You've
Hubler really does have it all. All of our pre-owned vehicles are Hubler Q certified, which include a 128-point vehicle inspection, a free Carfax vehicle history report, and 2 warranties. A 2-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 30-day, 1,000-mile comprehensive warranty. Visit any of our 13 locations today, or click drivehubler.com.
Hubler has it all.
We may be thousands of miles apart, but we can still connect. And when we do, we make things better. At Child Fund, we connect children all around the world with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Together, we co-create connections that help millions of children who live in poverty worldwide, and their families, and their communities, and you. Join us. Together, we can make the world a better place. 2 small worlds at a time. Visit childfund.org to learn more.
Were you hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? The insurance companies may chisel away any hope you have of winning your case, and they don't have the advantage of video proof that the hammer may have. Call us today or visit roadproof.wewin.com.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. Thanks to, I should say, producer Carl for doing his fabulous job, as he always does. I'll tell you what, Keith is apparently back with us, Carl. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, he is.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Keith, man, you were sleeping on us, man.
I went to take a break. I apologize. I'm going to do it again.
I can't really complain too much, Keith, brother, because, we leave you on hold for 15, 20, 25 minutes. And especially, at my age, I mean, you sound younger than me. Hey, man, that's about time. I got to go hit the head.
No, I'm your age. No, anyway.
That's all right. So which question?
Hey, yeah, well, just to give you a feel, I was one time one of those returning soldiers, and you talk about their rights and all that. Do you know what the rights for them on base is? Do you have a feel for that?
What the laws are on possession of a gun on military bases?
I can tell you, if you think it's bad here in Indiana, just pick Fort Benning. Okay, home of the infantry, airborne, all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a couple of different things to talk about, Keith, and thanks for calling us, buddy, and thanks for your patience. A couple of different things. The U.S. military sets its own regulations. For the most part, U.S. military regulations are that unless you're an MP, unless you've been specifically issued a firearm as part of the duty you're on that military base, you can't possess a firearm. And so they issue limited amount of firearms to people based on the specific duty that they're going to fulfill. But the rank and file of folks, they're on the military base, are not allowed to possess firearms for the most part. Now, there was a lot of uproar about that because we've had several shootings on military bases. And, at Fort Hood, there were 2 different shootings. And they were clearly terrorism, by the way. I mean, one person motivated by radical Islamic ideology murdered a bunch of soldiers at Fort Hood. And the Pentagon called it workplace violence, of all the idiotic things I've ever heard. And then we had shootings on other bases. We had shootings on National Guard bases. We had shootings, was it Chattanooga? I think Chattanooga and Nashville? And this is off the top of my head if I'm getting those wrong. I believe it was both. And we had at a recruiting station and then on a base itself. And get this, the people, they're soldiers, They're trained by the United States government to carry weapons and defend this country, and they were unarmed. They couldn't defend themselves. And listen, I've never served in the military, and so there are a ton of people out there that know infinitely more about these things than I do. I have an awful lot of friends in the military, and I talk to them often, but I can't speak from personal experience because I never served. But for the most part, in a military base, you got to go to the armory. You got to have a reason to be issued a firearm, and you got to be issued both firearm and ammunition. And I've talked to soldiers, people serving, who've said, yeah, even when we go train, you get a certain amount of ammunition given to you. You shoot a certain number of shots. There are people counting your shots. And whatever ammunition you didn't fire on the range, as far as documented out on the range in the training exercise, you turn back in. And they're counting the rounds. And so, for the most part, you're not allowed to carry a firearm on a military base. Now, again, there are guards or MPs, there are people that have jobs that they're doing at the time on the base that possess firearms, but pretty much nobody else does. And that prompted, for instance, in terms of National Guard bases, here in Indiana, then Governor Pence, after I want to say Chattanooga was the shooting. Somebody sit in front of your computer or your phone, you can Google that and call producer Carl and tell me if I'm getting that wrong. I want to say Nashville as well. I think there were two. But at any rate, there were shootings at a recruiting station and or a base. And some governors around the state, including our own then Governor Pence, obviously went on to become vice president, now running for president, signed an executive order that said as long as a National Guardsman in Indiana had gone through a handgun training course, then they could carry their personal handguns on base, on National Guard bases in Indiana. And you know what happened immediately? I got contacted. This is very cool. And again, you can figure out the year just based on the shooting in Tennessee, and then when Pence was still governor. But after that executive order, I got asked to train a bunch of National Guardsmen. And one of the coolest things I've ever done, I did it 3 different times. Went down to the Johnson County National Guard base and went on there. And by the way, I was kind of tempting fate a little bit, I suppose. I open carried my handgun when I went in to teach this course, because I thought, well, I'm being asked to come there at their invitation. We'll see how this goes. By the way, for us as civilians, it's generally illegal to carry a gun on a military base. Now, I've carried at Camp Atterbury. I've taught courses at Camp Atterbury. I've been a guest instructor down there. But for the most part, you can't carry a gun as a civilian on a military base either, and they'll arrest you for that. But I actually went and trained a whole bunch of Indiana National Guardsmen. At one point, the first one I taught down there, I put these pictures on my Facebook because I was really proud of it. We had a great big old classroom there at the Johnson County National Guard base. I think we had 50 or 60. I don't know. As I get older, I exaggerate. But we had a bunch of National Guards men and women in there and took this course. And after that course, man, according to Governor Pence's executive order, they could carry their personal handguns on base while on duty, which is pretty damn cool. But for the most part, that's how that works. I'm sure there are folks out there who have more personal experience than me, who could provide additional detail. But in the meantime, here we are at the bottom of the hour. Hey, great callers so far. Give us a call, 317-239-9393. When we come back, I'll go into a little more of what's going on a national basis. And for the most part, what's going on in the courtrooms and the appellate courts across the country on two-way issues. It's all good, and it's coming directly from the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association case that is v. Bruin Supreme Court decision, and that's a big deal, and it's all going our direction. And we'll go into what that really means for us as Hoosiers when we come back. In the meantime, as I say, give us a call, 317-239-9393. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
The Pothole, formed in colder months. tiny fissures are born. And in no time at all, they grow into big, gigantic tire killers. That's why you need Matt Baird Traffic.
Watch out on Keystone Avenue.
He'll guide you around these hidden monsters.
Yeah, might as well call it a basement.
And on to safer ground.
You don't want to be in the far left lane.
Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
It's prime home selling season. Right now, home buyers are actively looking. With mortgage rates moving lower, now is the ideal time to get your home sold for maximum dollar. Make the smart choice. Hire the agent I recommend, Mark Dietl. Maybe you're a growing family or working from home, and that means you need more space. Just like Rob and Haley in Indianapolis. They had another child on the way, and they needed a bigger home. They hired Mark Dietl. He launched an amazing marketing plan, sold the home in a couple of weeks, plus Mark's team found them a new, bigger home, all in less than a month.
There's only one agent that we recommend and trust on the Hammer and Nigel show, and it's Mark Dietl. And the reason we trust him is because of the guarantee. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Call him right now, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
AE Ammo is Greenwood's ammunition superstore. The largest variety in training, hunting, and self-defense ammo with the best prices locally guaranteed. Factory new 9mm FMJ ammo starting at $12 per 50-round box. Factory new 50-round boxes, $380 from $14.99 and $45 ACP from $18.99. And with the AE Ammo Customer Rewards Program, start earning points today towards money back to use on future purchases. Shop in-store or online at aeammo.com.
When I was younger, I may have did some stupid things, even committed some crimes, but I am not a criminal.
I work for youth advocate programs, I was Tamani's advocate, helping him stay out of jail, stay in the neighborhood, and get a job.
As a little kid, I experienced trauma and I acted out. Made some mistakes, but I'm not a mistake.
As Jalen's YAP advocate, I'm always here for her.
YAP is a community-based alternative to youth incarceration and neighborhood violence. Youth advocate programs. Learn how at yapinc.org.
Fox News, I'm Joe Chiro. Ted Kaczynski has died at a federal prison. Fox's Charles Watson.
Kaczynski, infamously branded as a Unabomber by the FBI, died in his prison this morning at the Federal Prison Medical Center in Butner, North Carolina. That coming from a spokesperson from the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
Kaczynski was convicted for a series of mail bombings, which killed 3 people and injured 23 others. President Joe Biden has welcomed hundreds to the White House for a delayed Pride Month celebration. The event was aimed at showing LGBTQ plus people that his administration has their back at a time when advocates are warning of a spike in discriminatory legislation, especially aimed at the transgender community, sweeping through state houses. The gathering was initially scheduled for Thursday, but was postponed because of poor air quality from the Canadian wildfire smoke. America is listening to Fox News.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show next Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. Next Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg. This is your premier gun store. Premier Arms has the experience and know-how to help the new gun buyer and the most experienced marksman. They've been in business for over 20 years and have a friendly, knowledgeable staff that wants to help you, not talk down to you. Premier Arms in Brownsburg is family-friendly, so bring the kids. All ages are welcome. Everyone can find what they're looking for at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street. Online at premierarms.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. premierarms.com.
Addiction affects almost everyone. In fact, nearly 90% of people that struggle with substance abuse don't get help. Many people don't know where to start or think that treatment is ineffective or too expensive. At Landmark Recovery, we're here to tell you that's not true. We teach a curriculum that is both effective and affordable. You can learn how to live a happier and healthier life, a life that is free from addiction. Don't wait another day to get help. Call 866-LANDMARK or visit landmarkrecovery.com to learn more.
Hey, this is Pastor Micah Beckwith.
And I'm Pastor Nathan Peternell.
And we serve at Life Church, and we got a podcast that we wanted to tell you about called Jesus, Sex, and Politics.
Yeah, you know all those things that the culture doesn't want to talk about that will scare you? Yeah, that's our bread and butter. We love it.
We're going to equip you on how to defend conservative constitutional values based in God's Word in this podcast. So tune in to Jesus, Sex, and Politics.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back to The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. I'll tell you what, we've had a handful of folks call in. We love to take our callers' questions and comments. Let's go right to the phone lines. We've got Jay. Jay, what can I do for you, buddy?
How are you doing, sir?
Good, man. Thanks for calling.
Good. Hey, I just wanted to touch base to see if you had an update on all the things going on at the 2A project. I'm a supporter and a member, and appreciate the work that you're doing, and just kind of wonder if you give an update on what's coming down the road.
Oh, man, I appreciate that question a lot, Jay. And thanks so much for being a member and a supporter. That means a ton. Yeah, I'll tell you what, we actually, this year, you know, after getting constitutional carry passed last year, which was such a focus, we didn't want to take a year off. And so there are a number of things that we worked on this year. A couple of things that we still, 3-4 years in a row now, we can't get through, and it's because Republicans are holding us up. There was a bill to prevent financial discrimination against industries, businesses involved in the firearms industry, credit card companies, banks, credit card processors. Who discriminate and just say, no, if even if you're a lawful business associated with the firearms industry, we won't do business with you. And there was a great bill, and it was sponsored by National Shooting Sports Foundation and NSSF, and it was a really good bill because it said, for instance, that, listen, we're not going to tell businesses how to do business. I mean, right? You're a private business. You can do business the way you want to. However, if you discriminate against, and unless you have internal policies that prevent the discrimination against lawful businesses associated with Second Amendment related activities, then the state of Indiana simply won't do business with you. And see, I love that, because that's not government telling private businesses how to work. It's just saying, all right, the state of Indiana doesn't choose to do business with you. Conduct your business however you want to. Guess what? We have the same opportunity, we have the same right as the state of Indiana to decide who we do business with, and we won't do business with you. And it was awesome, but we can't get that through, or at least past the Republicans. Another one was to allow you to point your firearm so as to protect your property. You know, after the riots in 2020, there were folks downtown in front of their businesses with firearms, and the way the law works right now, if somebody's coming up to destroy your business, now again, it's an important distinction. They're not threatening you, because then the rules are different. But if they're just going to destroy your property, like your business, and again, this doesn't apply to your home. If you're talking about your home, that's castle doctrine. That's a different set of rules. But just your business, so your car or your jewelry shop that you own downtown. If somebody's going to destroy your business today, and you point your firearm at them and say, no, you're not going to destroy my livelihood, you're not going to destroy my property, then you go to jail for a felony, for the crime of pointing a firearm. And there's a case out there. It's called Nance versus State. It's from, I want to say 2012, 2010. But it says that you may not point your firearm merely to protect your property. Again, other than your home. Can you point your gun at somebody to prevent them from breaking into your home? Yes. You can actually use deadly force to prevent someone from breaking into your home. But property other than your home, so your business, your car, your other property, if you point your gun to protect your property in Indiana, you go to prison on a felony. That's ridiculous. And we're trying to get that changed. That was unsuccessful. Something that didn't get a lot of fanfare It's not a huge deal to a lot of people, but I fought for it. I wrote the bill. And that was, we had judges in some counties, and notably Elkhart County, who refused, if they granted an expungement, and expungements, again, I do a lot of them. I'm proud to do them. I like doing them. I like restoring people's rights after they may have made a mistake a long time ago. There are time requirements. It has to be in your past, and you've got a clean record since then. You can get felonies expunged off your record, and that restores your rights. We had some judges who refused to put the restoration language, that is, that your rights have been restored to possess a firearm. They refused to put that in the expungement order. They just said, no, we don't do that in this county. And we said, well, it's language right out of the statute. Yeah, we don't care. So we got a bill passed with the help of some great Republican legislators, Aaron Freeman, and most notably, my good friend Jerry Torr worked hard on this. Is we amended the expungement statute to say if you grant an expungement order, you have to put the language in that restores somebody's gun rights. That's a big deal, and that's going to apply for generations to assist thousands and thousands of people. Coming up next year, there are more things we want to do. For instance, if somebody starts a red flag case against you, and you win, you establish you're not dangerous, and it could be frivolous. I've handled multiple frivolous red flag cases. Again, what's a red flag case? It's a gun seizure case, where someone calls cops and says, man, guy's crazy. Guy's going to kill me. Guy has guns. You need to come take his guns. And that could just be my crazy neighbor who's mad about where I leave my trash cans. I literally had that case. Not against me. It was for a client. The guy made up a story about his neighbor threatening him with a gun because he was mad about trash cans. And we won the case and established it was all BS and he was never dangerous and we won the case. But that's still on his record because an expungement is actually a civil proceeding in Indiana. A criminal case where you get arrested but there are no criminal convictions that come out of that arrest, you can get that expunged a year after the case is dismissed. You can get that expunged off your record. Right now you can't expunge a red flag case where someone contends you're dangerous. You're a danger. You're an imminent danger to yourself or others. That's what the state of Indiana has said based on somebody's report. You can't expunge that off your record. It stays right there on your criminal history. Somebody does a background check on you and says, wow, 2022, somebody said Guy Relford was an imminent danger to himself or others and in possession of firearms and got his gun seized. And okay, he won the case, but I'm not sure I want to hire that guy to do a job at my company. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we're working on a bill right now to be able to expunge red flag cases if you win and it's established that you're not dangerous. We want to be able to expunge that, seal that off your record, so nobody doing a background search on you can find that. There are other things out there. There are additional changes to the preemption statute we're looking at. There are additional changes to some of the guns on school property statute. There's some other things we're looking at. But man, we got a long list, and we always like getting ideas from our members. Some people, send us stuff that it's not necessarily feasible, but hey, we're open to all ideas, and we want to take input from our members about what we can accomplish. So we appreciate that call very much. I'll tell you, we're a little past the 3/4 hour, so we're taking a break. We'll come back. We'll go back to the phone lines. And I'll tell you, Bob has called. He served on a military base in Germany and has, I think, an interesting observation about my discussion on some of the rules on military bases and how silly they can be. But Rick's also called. We'll go to the phone lines and we'll get back to, again, what's going on at the federal level to wrap up the Gun Guy Show for our last segment when we come back. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Dr. Jill Biden. She was doing some speech. She was clearly wanting some applause at one point.
I visited red states and blue states, and I found that the common values that unite us are deeper than our divisions. And I thought you might clap for that.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for Premier Arms in Brownsburg. Listen, Premier Arms has been an advertiser here, a supporter and sponsor of the Gun Guy Show. They are our new sponsor for Monday Gun Day when I appear every Monday on Hammer and Nigel. I just want to say thank you to them. You'll hear me talk about their sponsorship of Monday Gun Day, which is every Monday at 3:35, and then we replay that segment about 6:15. We'd love to have you join us on Hammer and Nigel. In the meantime, check out Premier Arms at either premierarms.com or on South Green Street there in Brownsburg. It's a great gun store. Some of the best selections of new, used, and historic firearms anywhere in Indiana. And PA Jewelers is located right there inside the gun store, which is just a beautiful jewelry store with a lot of estate jewelry and other great items that you may be interested in. But in the meantime, thanks so much to Premier Arms, our new sponsor of Monday Gun Day on Hammer and Nigel. Check us out at 3:35 coming up on Monday.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword INFO 42 to 866-482-9559. That's INFO 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Everyone wants the perfect man cave or lady lair in their basement, but creating the perfect space can be a nightmare if your hard work and valuables are ruined by wet carpet, mold infestations, water bubbling up your drywall, and toxic air quality. Set your oasis up for success with basement waterproofing solutions by Indiana Foundation Service. They're not here to sell you Band-Aids for your basement and foundation. Indiana Foundation Service will work with you to find the permanent solution. Their expertise and local roots mean that they know what works and what doesn't. From wall anchors to vapor barriers and sump pumps to dehumidifiers, they can do it all, including encapsulation of your crawl space too, and making that a safe space for your valuable home appliances and even storage. Go to indianafoundation.com for a free inspection and no-pressure quote today. Their experts will inspect your whole home to find the root of the issue and fix it once and for all. That's indianafoundation.com. There's a reason they've been around so long.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
Whether you're an experienced firearms owner or are just thinking about getting a new firearm, Atkinson Firearms in Greenwood has everything you need. With brands like Glock, Smith & Wesson, Canik, Colt, Henry, SIG, and much more. If Atkinson Firearms doesn't have it, they can get it. Plus accessories, from holsters to ammo and everything between. Atkinson Firearms is firefighter owned and veteran staff with a new larger location. Follow Atkinson Firearms on Facebook. Atkinson Firearms, off County Line Road next to the Greenwood Airport.
I'm a grandson, a son. I'm an employee and a mentor. I'm a father to 2 beautiful kids and a husband to an amazing wife. And I have a substance use disorder. In other words, I'm living in recovery with an addiction. And now that you know, will you let it change how you see me? It's okay to see my addiction, but I want you to know it's people choosing to see me as a person that changed my life.
See the person, not just their disease. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
There's a lot of sexy content on the internet. And there's WIBC, full of faces meant for radio. Hammer and Nigel, Kendall and Casey. Okay, Casey could be on TV. Now streaming every day on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/WIBC. He's a Second Amendment attorney. He's an NRA certified firearms instructor. He's the gun guy. Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back for what's going to be a brief last segment here. Let's talk about what's going on nationally. And just quickly, the Federal District Court for the Third Circuit Now listen, this is the federal appellate court that just has jurisdiction over the federal courts in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and the Virgin Islands. So this doesn't apply to us right here in Indiana as yet. The Supremes would have to rule, or the Circuit Court of Appeals where we live, and in Indiana, the Seventh Circuit has jurisdiction over us. Where Indiana is a member of the Seventh Circuit, so it's a different circuit, different jurisdiction. But they just ruled that the long-standing is part of the Brady Bill that says, and part of the Gun Control Act of 1968 as well, but it says that any person who has a felony, just defined as a crime for which you could have served over a year, that as to non-violent felons, that's unconstitutional. And they applied this text, history, and tradition standard, the test of Bruin, the case I keep talking about, to say, you know what, when the founders talked about keeping firearms away from certain people, they're talking about people that are truly dangerous, who are violent, who are a danger to society. If you have a conviction for some crime involving no violence whatsoever, and the case involves somebody convicted of welfare fraud, if I recall correctly, I said, well, it was still a felony, or at least it was a crime for which you could have been sentenced to more than a year. So you can't possess a firearm under federal law. And the Third Circuit came out and said, no, the founders, the text of the Second Amendment certainly doesn't support that. And the history and tradition of Second Amendment regulation in this country doesn't support the idea of making it a crime for nonviolent people to possess firearms and exercise their Second Amendment rights. That's a big deal. And it's an example of how the Bruin case is really sending things in the right direction. I want to go to the phone lines. We don't have a lot of time, but Bob's been on hold for a while. And Bob, I understand you were in the military and served on a base in Germany and had an observation about the regulations about possessing a gun on a military base.
Yeah, I was a tanker at a German base, wheel flicking and bomb wheeler.
Awesome.
Guard duty came up, and I was issued a .45 pistol. Well, get this. They gave me 3 bullets to guard that motor pool with. 3. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's not funny.
No, it kind of is. It's funny in that it's ridiculous. AK-47 and 30-round magazines would think nothing is snuffing me out to get a hold of one main gun round out of the tank, which uses C4 for propellant. And Bob, was there ever any rationale of why you could only be trusted with 3 rounds of ammunition?
I don't know. That's what I was done with those people then and there.
Well,
I'm serious.
Listen, I know you don't think it's funny because it had to be frustrating at the time, and I agree with you. I just think it shows you the idiocy of some of these policies. That you're guarding, important military assets, and you only can be trusted with 3 rounds of ammunition. Hey, that's what we're dealing with. In the meantime, that brings us to the conclusion of this week's Gun Guy Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you come back next week. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Your taste buds will be best buds with Dr. Pepper Float Ice Cream from Bluebell. The rich taste of creamy vanilla ice cream swirled together with the one-of-a-kind flavor of delicious Dr. Pepper. Treat yourself to a pint or half-gallon today.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at select Kroger stores.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. The summer startup sale is here and you can save 20% off container trees and shrubs, 30% off Dissectum Japanese maples, 30% off pottery. Finish off the landscaping in your yard and save money at Sundown Gardens now through June 11. 20% off container trees and shrubs, 30% off Dissectum Japanese maples, 30% off pottery. Ask about their loyalty program too. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com,